Hi guys, Remy here, welcome back to another video. Today is like a tiny mini haul. Basically I have gotten back into one of my favourite bands as a teenager, Panic at the Disco. I already have A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, Pretty Odd and Death of a Bachelor. Like, these are albums that I've loved and enjoyed for years, but I hadn't listened to them for quite a long time. So I started to listen back to their catalogue. I just realised I do genuinely enjoy all the albums that the band have so far. So I decided to get the rest on vinyl and I wanted to show you guys, so let's get started. Up first we have Vices and Virtues. So this is the third album in the Panic discography. This was the first album after the well-known split between Brendan Urie, Spencer Smith, and then Ryan Ross and John Walker. So Ryan and John left the band after Pretty Odd, which left Brendan and Spencer, and they decided to make this album. This album is probably the one I'm least familiar with. It's also the newest album because I literally just got this today. I had to listen through, it sounds great. It's got like elements of like steampunk in there, but also just like a range of different genres as well. I'd say it's definitely a step closer towards pop compared to Pretty Odd, which was very much like Beatles-esque, Beach Boys-esque, and A Fever You Can't Sweat Out was very theatrical and electronic and emo and that type of thing. Whereas Vices and Virtues is a little bit more towards pop, but it's still got like a lot of rock elements, a bit of alternative, that sort of thing. Favourite tracks, I mean, like the starting track, Ballad of Mona Lisa, is iconic. I like to think of it as like the music video and the imagery is like a darker steampunk version of I Write Sins Not Tragedies, in my opinion. So that song is just, you know, it's definitely a song you'd hear in like the clubs, you know, during like them iconic hits and stuff. You would hear Ballad of Mona Lisa. Hurricane has got some amazing percussion that I really enjoy, and it uses like video game sounds in a really cool way that kind of act as instruments within the song, so that's cool. Ready to Go, I think, is the first Panic song that I ever heard in my life. I'm pretty sure it was the song that played in the credits of the 2011 Smurf movie. So when I heard Ready to Go, like for the first time whilst discovering the band, I was like, oh my god, that song is from the Smurfs movie, and that's where I first heard Panic, which I always found really funny. But the song is really sweet. It's like just it's very pretty. It's like pretty pop, and it's just very optimistic and fun. In my mind, like, to me, like, I think when I hear the song it makes me happy and it's good. And the music video, again, quite cinematic, and just it's just very sweet. Always is a track that I wasn't very familiar with until today. I really liked it. I thought there was some interesting chord progressions. I really liked the guitar and piano. It's a slower song and I just think it was just really sweet. Also, something I've just picked up on, I think the reason why I like Always so much is because it feels like a very Pretty Odd type track, and it also sounds quite similar to Mother Nature's Son by the Beatles, especially with like the use of horns and everything, and gentle guitar and all that. So I feel like I love Always because it feels like it could belong on Pretty Odd, and Pretty Odd is quite a very much like a 1960s type kind of folky type album, but yeah. I think this album just has a lot of sweet, kind moments. You know, it's not as like crazy and as energetic as like Death of a Bachelor or Pray for the Wicked, and it's not as like, you know, out there as like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out or Pretty Odd. It's like good. It's like a nice middle ground. It's kind of just like a bit more relaxed, but it also does have its like more exciting moments as well. Sarah Smiles is my absolute favourite track. I adore this song. It's obviously a song written for Brendan Urie's now wife, Sarah, I just think it's one of the most romantic songs. I do like it when artists write songs that are about like their real life like love interests. Like I love that Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul is written for Linda McCartney. I just love that kind of thing. I just think it's adorable. And yeah, Sarah Smiles. I love the intro where it kind of sounds a little bit Parisian, I guess, stereotypically Parisian. It has some awesome like drumming sections, like the drumming gets insane at one point. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful moment. Also, I'm in love with the album's closer, Nearly Witches, Ever Since We Met. I can't get it out of my head. The intro and the outro where it has the choir singing, I love it so much, particularly the children's choir at the end of the song. I just think, wow, it's so good. And like the chords that are going against it, I'm just like, wow, it's amazing. I think it's really, really sweet. I know the song originally was a bit different when Ryan Ross was still part of the band, and I know that a lot of people do prefer the demo version, but honestly I love the finalised version. I like Brendan's choruses that he added. I think it's just phenomenal. What a way to close an album. Overall, this album just has some very touching moments, I'd say. I also love the album cover. Like I really love like the colour brown and I love gold. It's got like an old-fashioned kind of look to it, very stylised, and yeah, I really like the album aesthetic because it's got a few steampunk elements, more with like the music videos, but this album cover is very classic, I'd say. I think that's something that definitely I love that Panic at the Disco always seems to have like some kind of classic vibe. Like you could definitely see like the next album cover for Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die definitely takes on iconography that's kind of famous with people from a bygone era, I'd say. And especially in the music within later albums, like there's like an homage to like older times. But yeah, speaking of Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, it's not my favourite Panic album, however there are some tracks on here that I really enjoy. So This Is Gospel is obviously a really deep, meaningful song. It was written for Spencer, and yeah, it's probably one of Panic's like most well-known songs. Miss Jackson's a cool song we can like definitely headbang to a little bit. Girls Girls Boys is my favourite. It's like this really cool like synth pop track. It's just really, really fun to sing along to. But yeah, like This Is Gospel, Girls Girls Boys from Miss Jackson are definitely like my highlights of this album. I'm not too familiar with the rest of the tracks yet, however like the singles that came from this era are like really, really good. Definitely enjoyed the vibe of the album as a whole. Up next we have Pray for the Wicked, which is the most recent album. It came out 3 years ago. I really enjoy this album. I know a lot of people weren't personally a fan of Pray for the Wicked because they think, oh, High Hopes is an overhyped song, or they're just not a fan of the pop direction that Panic have been going towards for the past few years. Like obviously this sounds nothing like Fever or Pretty Odd. Hell, it doesn't even sound similar to Vices and Virtues, you know, it's very much a very different Panic. But then again, you know, it's just Brendan, you know, it's only got one original band members, so it's not gonna sound the same, but I understand why people would have a problem with that. However, I personally enjoy all the eras of Panic, so that doesn't bother me. This sounds very similar to Death of a Bachelor, however I do think Death of a Bachelor is the better album. Just personal preference, to be honest. However, I still enjoy quite a few tracks on here. Like, I think the opening track, like a Silver Lining, is a great way to start. It's very energetic. It's very much tells you this album is going to be full of good vibes. Who cares? Let's just have fun, basically, and good attitude. You know, very energetic as well. And I enjoy that. I just think it's very fun to sing along and dance to, and sometimes you just need an album that you want to sing along and dance to. Say Amen Saturday Night is also great. I love how it sounds at the beginning of the song because the melody's kind of got like this mysterious urgency to it, and then when the chorus really kicks in, it's like a bit more driven. The drums sound great. It's very much like a headbanger. And yeah, very cool, very like a little bit more edgy. It's quite fun. Hey Look More I Made It is a song I love on here because, you know, it's got this really lovely synth that kind of radiates the positive vibes, especially this song because it's about, you know, your successes and how like you've made it in the world, and it's really nice to hear a song so happy when, you know, a lot of songs you get nowadays aren't that. And then One of the Drunks is a song that I really like because it's got this moment towards like the bridge or like middle 8 of the song where the vocals are so layered and have different harmonies and stuff, and the lyrics are like round and round and round and round and round and round, and the vocals themselves sound like they're swirling round and round and round, so it's like a really cool example of vocal imagery, and it's just beautiful. Like, I'm not too familiar with One of the Drunks. It's one of the tracks that I don't really know until I bought the album, but that moment like really like grabbed my attention. I was like, whoa, this sounds great. And then The Overpass is my favourite track. Like, it's very snazzy, and I love tracks that are like snazzy and got a bit of jazz. It's got some great horns. I love the chorus, that kind of cool response thing that's going on. You know, the album finishes with Dying in LA, which is very much like what you'd expect from a closer. It's a lot more toned down, the energy's gone from here to here. It's like a nice piano kind of ballad type thing to just ease things towards the end. Kind of like how Death of a Bachelor ends with Impossible Year, which is like a very slow track. But yeah, these are all my Panic records. I wish I could show you guys my Fever album, however, that is at my parents' house. But the next chance I get, I will be bringing Fever back up here and we will make this collection complete. I don't know if Panic at the Disco are making any more albums, because Pray for the Wicked came out 3 years ago now, so I'd be interested to see what direction they would take towards music in the 2020s. Is it going to be pretty much the same as Death of a Bachelor and Pray for the Wicked, or would they go for a new direction? I think a new direction would sound kind of cool, kind of step away from like the synth pop they've been doing and maybe try something different. But overall I'd be excited to hear from them anyway. I do, however, want them to officially release It's Almost Halloween, because the fact that that song is so genuinely good, despite the fact that it's a novelty Halloween song, and it's not been officially released anywhere, it's just a YouTube video, is a crime. Okay, release it, please, I need it. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in another video. Bye guys.